Welcome back. This is still Breakfast Daily right here on Citi TV. And of course, the show is very interactive. Use the WhatsApp line 0550585832. And of course, if you're texting us from outside of Ghana, use the country code +233. And of course, the hashtag Breakfast Daily is up for grabs. Use it, communicate, and we will hear and see you. Now it's time to get into some conversations about galamsey. For those of you who still don't know what that is, it's the jargon, the term that Ghanaians have given to illegal mining, and particularly illegal mining of gold. All right. So, and this is illegal small-scale mining.
Yeah,
to be
I
precise.
hear the term actually comes from it's gather and sell.
Yes.
And that's
so it's a
where it comes from.
portmanteau.
Yes.
Yes.
Gather and sell.
And of course, that because of the way it used to be done, you know. But yeah, now here we are. We're dealing with large-scale machinery in small-scale territory, and it is an issue. Over the years, I like to say that in the last 5 years, this is when the advocacy, the creation of awareness has intensified. But really, this is something that has been with us for years. Like last week, I referenced the fact that when you go to Dio Gratis, oldest photo studio in Accra, they were established in 1922. They're 100 years old this year. You see photos of people with their headpans. For those of you who haven't seen it, headpans that are similar to what we use at construction sites to carry cement and all that, you know, and they have the water in there, and they're washing the stones so they can get the gold out and everything, and that will form the first process before it goes to the goldsmith and all that, right? And my grandfather was a goldsmith, right? My dad's my dad's dad, and so some of these things we had. Even I didn't meet him, but I met people who were in the trade, you know, and it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this. It wasn't like this. So it's been with us for a while. Over the past 10 years or so, it's become a canker. Deforestation is happening. People are cutting down trees. We've seen what's happening. It's raining when we didn't plan for it to rain. The sun is out when we didn't expect it to be out. Cocoa farms. People are selling their cocoa farms and their parents and their grandparents' cocoa farms so that they can also get a piece of this thing called galamsey. You know, now we have 3 reports. Before we call for the reports, I just want to read what the Asante Hene said. You know, over the he's been quizzing. He says, where are the DISCCs in this whole galamsey matter? So Asante Hene Otumfo Osei the second is questioning the relevance of district and municipal security councils over their failure to fight the illegal mining galamsey menace. The Asante Hene said years after government launched the fight against illegal mining, little has been achieved. Speaking at a meeting with the new U.S. ambassador to Ghana at the Menchia Palace, the Asante Hene said the fight against galamsey has been poor. Okay, and we'll see more of that in one of the reports.
I can't agree more.
I can't either. We also have the lands minister speaking. He says chiefs, DCs, others to be blamed for worsening galamsey in Ghana. Right, so the Minister for Lands and National Resources, Samuel Abdullahi Jinapor, is blaming chiefs, district security councils, mineral commission officials, and regional authorities for the worsening state of illegal mining in the country. According to him, irrespective of enforcement efforts by the government, the galamsey situation will not improve if people in mining communities do not help authorities in addressing the menace. And again, something I can't agree with more. You know, the president can't be everywhere. The lands minister can't be everywhere. The interior minister can't be everywhere. National security can't be everywhere. The military can't even be everywhere. So, I mean, really, let's take a look at these series of reports that have been done by Citi News reporters so that we can see where we are with this galamsey situation.
Conversations on how to address illegal mining have heightened in recent times following continuous destruction being caused to the environment and water bodies. Otumfo Osei II questioned why the security agencies cannot stop illegal mining activities.
But the question is, who is in control of that security around the area? From the district level to the highest level. We are all talking about galamsey. The government set up the a military police to do it, why have we not been able to stop it?
Sure.
That's the point. Why haven't we been able to stop it? If you create a system where we say we will stop it to the extent that the president says, I've put my presidency on the line, and yet it is going on, then to me, something is wrong somewhere.
Sure.
So we need to review why this is happening. Polluting our waters. And a case in point, I came back and hear that a Chinese woman who was supposedly deported is back in this country also doing galamsey again. Who allowed her to come? Is it that our borders are porous? Or what? So what happened?
Sure.
And people know who are doing that galamsey. They know the people are working there in the communities with those people. Unfortunately, unemployment may be the problem. Fine, but that is not to say that we have to destroy environments.
Sure.
He says the continuous pollution of water bodies must be a concern for all, adding that persons occupying political positions in the districts have failed.
Like the army officers, the police officers, I can't see why. They cannot be anywhere, but they should be able to stop that.
Sure.
So but if they go there and meet the galamsey people with gold and all those things, what happens? Where's the gold? Where's the money? Who is taking it?
Sure.
Let's face realities. So that the concession or whatever it is given by them, by the authorities in Accra. The chiefs don't give concessions to people. The chiefs are there and the people come, they say that we've gotten a document from Accra to say that we've been given a license to come and mine. Who consulted the chief for him to even be able to supervise where he's going? Sure. And the chief runs under is being held in trust for the people by the president. So whoever gave that person the license to go in should be responsible to supervise the degradation of the land. At the district level, we have the political administration there. You have the district chief executive. You have the district security council over there. And that district, there's a galamsey going on. And you tell me we don't know who is there? Then unfortunately, you are nowhere to be the district chief executive or the district security council there.
The U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Virginia Palmer, who engaged with some journalists in Kumasi, addressed a wide range of issues, including security in Ghana and illegal mining. She wants Ghanaians to adopt an aggressive approach to the fight against illegal mining activities.
I think that Ghanaians must be aggressive in fighting and enforcing regulations that you do have. And the galamsey themselves are people who need to make a living. I think the galamsey are not they are active in doing it, but the powers behind them are the ones really responsible, I think, for the evils. But indeed, they're wreaking real environmental havoc on your rivers, which is having an impact on your cocoa crop. All of these things are going to have really negative consequences for the economy of Ghana if steps aren't taken to prevent the use of excavators, for example, and stop illegal mining.
She asked that the U.S. government will continue its cooperation with relevant institutions to avert the threats of violent extremists in Ghana.
We work very closely with the Ministry of National Security. We have intelligence cooperation, and so we share information. And the embassy is attentive to the threat coming to Ghana. And right now, you can look at a map of attacks, and it frames Ghana very neatly. It's a horseshoe around Ghana. So I think things like regional cooperation through the Accra Initiative are very important.
Speaking at the climax of this year's Cocoa Day celebration in Suhum over the weekend, Osajifo Amotiel Foripenyin, who condemned recent surge in galamsey, sale of farmlands to illegal miners, and the exemption of chiefs in policy making, said actions of environmental task force is just to protect the future of children in the country. He says the activities of illegal mining in Ghana must end.
Galamsey. Yeah.
Galamsey.
Graduate.
Mama Penny, a commander chief.
Yeah.
And a waka.
Yeah.
Waka say, young Galamsey.
Yeah.
That you Judas.
Yeah, but.
Okay, I said.
Yeah.
Okay, I said.
Yeah.
I go to your own.
Yeah.
And the Ghana, she said,
yeah.
The gold nation as
yeah.
In war, or my penny and some, the Jonas of Palma, and not tea.
Yeah.
And on cancer, send the presidency club and Bonua.
Yeah.
Galamsey.
Yeah, but.
There's war commander in chief.
Yeah.
Now small slav war.
Yeah.
Now small crawford and the Moko, where now when they be and go ye.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yet, Adama, Nanum,
yeah.
And the big sassy Emma.
Yeah.
The guy said, "Oh, my penny car said, and I'm saying to me, on the community man and buy, we didn't because community man ended to man.
Yeah, ma.
And what ended to man?
Yeah.
The can be also said,
yeah.
You have a fit to all, yeah, we just had him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reacting to various allegations leveled against traditional leaders for the worsening state of illegal mining in the country, Ochehenia Motio Foripin, who indicated that no farmer has the right to sell off farmlands to illegal miners, said no chief has the financial prowess to purchase excavators, which are mostly used for illegal mining.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the man can say, we only on Chimawa, who was saying, so let us say, I'm not going to say, you have no right. Who you right to be as a assassin? The new master was by Coco. Who don't know Toma or minor?
Yeah.
No, Nanago over here, that's how the end cost. Sana, no, yeah. Couple of brownie. There's no chief who has money to buy an excavator.
Yeah.
No chief.
Yeah.
Do you want to see the excavator there?
Yeah.
Illegal miners are on record to have destroyed plots of land in major farming communities in parts of the country. Cocoa farms are the worst hit, with some farmers selling off their farms to illegal miners. The sector minister is worried this will affect Ghana's export earnings.
If we send a consignment of cocoa to, say, Belgium, and they test there and they find any trace, they could ban our cocoa exports. So it's not so much the impact on the production as to endangering our international trade. And the only thing we have is cocoa. We are now, as I told you, coming up in terms of the diversification, picking these 6 crops that we want to develop into the cocoa standard. But that will take time. That's a medium, long-term thing. Okay? But immediately, the danger of these cyanides and these very dangerous chemicals going into the chain, into our product, which we send abroad, to endanger our export earnings, that is, for me, the biggest concern. And therefore, the sooner we are able to stop this galamsey, the better it will be not to only safeguard the environment, but to safeguard our trade.
Mr. Efuria Koto insists food is abundant in the country due to the Planting for Food and Jobs program. He, however, attributes the rising food prices in recent times to distraction of world trade due to the Russian-Ukraine war.
Even Accra, now they are not complaining because prices are coming down. I can show you, if I knew I was going to do this in Triton, I would have come with my graphs. Even in Accra, prices are beginning to edge down. And don't forget, you see, all these areas that you mentioned, even Greater Accra, you go to Seguin, so these are farming communities. They are very close to the market. Central region, Volta region. Everywhere you go, there's food. Food prices have gone up in the last 2 years compared to the previous 3 years because of what's happening, the disruption in world trade, which initially was to do with the COVID, which has disrupted not only us, all over the world. And then followed by what is happening in Europe now with this war. Okay, so that is a new phenomenon which has led to a sharp increase in petroleum prices, so fuel prices. London and coal, there are queues waiting to get fuel.
He also says his outfit has banned the export of food to neighboring countries to enhance the nation's food security.
Already, we are seeing the easing of farm prices. We are seeing the flow of substantial quantities of food flowing around, coming from the producing areas into the urban areas. Of course, officially, we banned the export of food to our neighboring countries to make food security even stronger. And this is why we took the decision that we would prohibit the export of food. Otherwise, Ghana had become the breadbasket of West Africa, whilst all our neighbors are facing very severe food shortages. Ghana has surpluses, and we want the surpluses to stay because the people who actually are paying for this prosperity in our agriculture, the taxpayer of Ghana, have to have the full benefit.
The minister continues to tout the gains of the Planting for Food and Jobs initiative and maintains the sector has experienced unprecedented growth in the last few years.
Government, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and the Ghana Cocoa Board have raised concerns about the continuous sale of farmlands, especially cocoa plantations, to illegal miners. It has become evidently clear that majority of farmers in cocoa growing areas in the country are now selling off cocoa plantations to illegal miners who are causing destruction to land and water bodies. Speaking at the climax of a 4-day cocoa exhibition in Suhum to mark Cocoa Day celebrations, the Eastern Regional Minister, Seth Kwame Echampong, noted that the sale of cocoa farmlands to galamseyers, if not checked, has a potential of collapsing the cocoa sector.
Although cocoa production has existed for years in Ghana, making positive economic impact, the industry is confronted with imminent danger of the sale of cocoa farms for illegal mining activities. This practice, if not checked, could wipe away all the gains made in the country by the cocoa sector. I would therefore wish to use this opportunity to call on our chiefs who are custodians of our lands, our gallant cocoa farmers, and the cocoa farming communities to say no to the sale of our farmlands for cash, to the detriment of our future and our livelihoods.
Delivering an address on behalf of the president of Cocoa and Coffee Farmers Association, Alhaji Abubakar Ahassan, appealed to government to intensify the galamsey fight to save the sector.
By many Ghanaians about the devastation of the environment, especially in the cocoa farms. The depletions of our cocoa farms and turning them into gold mining pits leaves much to be desired. The matter has become so serious that the vulnerable cocoa farmers are beginning to believe that selling off their farms for gold mining has become more lucrative than even managing their farms. I wish to appeal to you, especially His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, to work harder in fighting the galamsey menace in order to save the cocoa industry from imminent collapse.
The board chairman of Cocoa Board, Mr. Peter McMenu, delivering his address, disclosed that the implementation of the much-awaited Cocoa Farmers Pension Scheme will begin in October. He then called on cocoa farmers to desist from using children as laborers on cocoa farms and also stop the sale of cocoa plantations to illegal miners.
Permit me to make this important announcement at the celebration of Cocoa Board at 75. The rollout of the Cocoa Farmers Pension Scheme begins this month. From district to district to register cocoa farmers to be part of the scheme. Farmers are, however, encouraged to register to enjoy the benefits of the match.
All right, so this is it's a mishmash of problems.
Exactly.
You know, and a lot of things are going on which we really need to get on top of, you know. And like Otumfo aptly said, district security,
What have you been doing?
Where are you? And if you are district security and you can't deal with security, you shouldn't be in the office.
As simply as
it's
that.
as simple as that.
Simply put.
There's no need for incompetence and
Simply
tolerance of
put.
incompetence.
Simply put.
It's as simple as that.
Simply put.
Yeah.
Anyone who acts at a district level in terms of their capacity or their position is representative of the president and his cabinet.
Yep.
So if you are there and the president has boldly said to us that we are fighting against Galamsey, it is on my heart. We are addressing this issue. We need to get to the root cause of it and nip it in the bud. And you are there and you're not doing what you need to do to ensure that things get back to the way they need to be, then you don't deserve to be there.
No, you shouldn't be there. Well, we've been joined on the line by Daro Bosu, who is the Deputy Director of Arocha, Ghana. Daro, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. And so after a weekend of many happenings, including the Ochehene and the Otumfo speaking on this matter, what are your thoughts as to where we are now?
Thank you very much. And always I'll say good to come and also opportunity. And it's good. I'm actually very happy hearing the Otumfo reiterate what needs to be said. The fact that we have decentralized institutions at the local level and need to be doing their work and not always expecting the minister or the ministry to send people down from Accra before actually taking against the So for me, I think it's a very good statement, and I hope that, like you said, and I've heard you also be very excited about it, if you are saying not to be doing your work, then you don't deserve to be at that place. You don't deserve to hold out. So I think this is a very positive message coming over the weekend, and I think that we all need to rally behind that. And the people at the various districts to start holding their decentralized agencies and access to what is happening. That said, I think one thing that has come up that all of us need to pay close attention to is the development regarding the direction of the ministry for accountability to call. I believe that in that direction, it was clear that the company was engaged in an illegality. So what we need is not a directive to Security Commission to hold accountability activity, but rather we need to see an action by the police to arrest the company directors and all those who are culpable in perpetrating illegal mining within the anonymity. And for me, until we do that, they are setting a responsibility to both politically exposed persons responsible. But at the moment, that is the biggest hurdle to addressing Galamsey. We need the state agencies to work on the ground, but we need government to also show commitment that its own people who are following the Galamsey activities will also be responsible. Until that is done, we will be having this discussion for a long time to come. So it's a crucial issue, and I think that we all shouldn't forget about that. And the fact also remains that I do not understand why the ministry came out saying that they were writing the directive because of publications they have made. And for me, that really is telling us that the Forest Commission is not doing its best because every forest reserve in this country has got forest managers. There are regional managers, there are even forest guards on the ground. Is the ministry saying that there was no report from the Forest Service division that these illegal mining activities were happening in the forest reserve? He just come and say that you took the action because of complications you've been hearing here and there. What's for me unfortunate and undermining the work of the Forest Commission. Now, we also need to see a clear responsibility on the part of the state itself, making sure that do not also interfere in the work of some of these decentralized organizations. I am curious to know what has happened to the case of the Elembere and Citi, who was arrested because of his alleged involvement in shielding persons who were engaged in galamsey. And the last time we heard, he was trying to confiscate some excavators that were on the road. The police arrested him. There were some court hearings and all of that. What happened to it?
Yeah.
I think that we need to keep following the issue and keep asking the question. And for me this morning, the question I think the media should ask the ministry is what is going to happen to Akunta mining companies? Are they going to be compelled to pay the full rigors of the law as they have been taking all these young guys they arrest in the pit? Are they compel the company to restore the areas that have degraded aside being to pay the full rigors of the law? So this for me is quite a lot of issues that I think we shouldn't sleep over, and we need to make sure to address them.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Darrell. We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. So that was Darrell Bosu, who is a Deputy Director of Arocha, Ghana, sharing with us his thoughts on the conversation this morning. Abioko.
Our problems are plenty.
No, they are. They are. But you see, they are not difficult to solve. The question is, do we want to solve them or not? It's as simple as that.
They may be complicated.
Yes. They are,
but not impossible.
No, but they are complicated because human beings want to play favorites and favorable with other human beings. And that's why it's complicated. If we chose to go by the Constitution and therefore the law, it will be simple and straightforward.
Yes.
Politically exposed persons will be in jail as we speak.
That's
if we chose to go by the law.
That's very true. But don't forget, we're also dealing with a community level.
Yeah.
Where people are living in an abject poverty and are feeding the system from their position.
Yep.
Because we also haven't done what we need to do on certain levels to ensure that they are okay and they have decent living situations. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying it's complicated, because there's also a humanitarian angle to it.
Well, you see, here's
a chicken and egg situation.
No, but here's what I ask myself. Prior to the introduction of excavators into the galamsey space, these same communities were figuring out on a smaller scale, which were not detrimental to our water bodies, how to survive.
Yeah, but prices have gone up.
Do you get it?
The world has become more globalized. And even though these people may not be living in urban spaces, they have developed urban tastes.
Well, that's true.
So after this conversation,
I'm just saying that if excavators are not involved,
as for Constitution
our water bodies
law,
will be restored.
As for Constitution and law, they should always take precedence. I have no...
Somebody should be in jail for 15 to 25 years.
No qualms about that. But I'm also just saying that as we address it from that angle, we also need to address
the other problems.
Yeah. Otherwise, it will show up as something else other than galamsey. You know, it's like a beast with 6 heads. You chop off the galamsey one, something else will pop up.
Anyway, well, we'll take a quick break. Breakfast Daily has a lot more that's coming up. Don't go anywhere.